following is a presentation of the Hello Chicago Network. Hello, Chicago Network is on the air. Hello, everybody. I'm Ryan Yanishatis, and it's time to focus for this Monday, December the 8th. And let's get right into it. Let's focus on the Bears. And what a game it was at Lambeau Field. Early on, first half, 14-3 Packers. Packers were able to get the touchdown and all towards the end of the half. And I really wasn't emotionally invested at that point. I'm like, okay, Packers are going to absolutely take care of the Bears, and this is going to be a shellacking. Well, then all of a sudden we get to the second half. Bears stop the Packers out into the third quarter. Then they score, looked really good. I don't know how it got past the hands of the defender of the Packers, able to get it. Bears score, and then eventually Bears end up tying it 21-21. Packers then end up getting right down the field. Josh Jacobs did a tremendous job being able to, there was 3 Bears right around him. He's able to get past them to get the first down, which I think can definitely build in that drive, and the Packers take a 28-21 lead. Bears go down the field, plenty of time left, and then the Bears get down there. Final play, Caleb Williams throw a pick into the end zone, just not enough to get it over the defender's head, Nixon, and then Cole Kmet was the one behind him. At first glance, I thought he was running for the first down. I'm like, okay, let's move on. But then no. And then you look at the replay and it looked like DJ Moore was wide open as well. So there's a lot of critiques there you could take. And I mean, it just seems like he might have had tunnel vision on that play where he's only going to one guy and that's all he's looking for. And I mean, has been a problem. He still did. Caleb Williams did still overthrow guys, but the Bears do lose 28-21 to the Packers on the final play of the game. And that's crazy that this is the third straight game against the Packers that came down to the last play of the game. Blocked field goal, game-winning field goal, and now this. So, I mean, this rivalry, last year's Bears team nowhere near to the level of this year's Bears team, but we're back to, I think, almost close to an even playing field. And we're eventually going to see a time where I think the rivalry may take a turn. And Packer fans aren't bragging as much as you think they would, because I think they didn't know that they were winning this game. From halftime at 14-3 to the end of that final play, they were still nervous, but they get the upper hand. It's still the rivalry, because it's not a rivalry. The Packers have owned the Bears, but the Bears are hopefully going to get their opportunity to take over this, at least get some big wins, and it could be in 2 weeks. Like I said, that was a huge game for the Packers, because then with what goes on next week was a winnable game for the Bears, probably their last winnable game that you can hopefully go in. Hopefully it's not a catch game. We'll talk about that on Friday. But I still think with next week, the Bears could be right back in first place when these two teams meet in 2 weeks in Chicago. So it is what it is. Great job. Packers won that game. But the Bears are getting close. I mean, they were without Rome Odunze. They're without defenders. Jalen Johnson was on a snap count, and the Bears still lost on the final play of the game. So they're getting there, Chicago, and the Packers know as well. Brag about it. You deserve to win. You're first place in the NFC North, not first in the NFC like the Bears were. But I digress. So I think right now you just got to it's a tough loss. It's an aggravating loss. It hurts. But when you look at it, a lot of positives came out of that game. And we'll see what happens. You just hope it's not a catch game this week against the Browns. And then the Broncos, who are 11-2 or 12-2, whatever they are, hopefully they can do the damage and the Bears can regain first place before these two teams play again in 2 weeks. Should be fun. Bears, of course, do drop down to the 7 seed. They only have like a 60% chance to make the playoffs. So let's not celebrate playoffs. They need to get a win. They need to win next week for sure. And then you got to beat the Packers. I think because it seems like it's gone from 10 to 11 wins now. I thought 10 was to get in, but the Lions are still hanging around. You got to get one against the Cleveland, and you got to either get the other one against the Packers, which you would like it to be that one because you don't want to get swept. At San Francisco, home against Detroit, and that one might end up being the Sunday night game because if Detroit keeps winning, that game is going to be maybe to get into the playoffs, and that could be a huge game at Soldier Field. Should be exciting. So Bears lose 28-21 to the Packers. We'll preview the game against the Browns coming up on Friday, but the Packers, after the Bears won the last one last year, just unbelievable fun game. That went right down to the wire. Okay, we're going to take a time out here on the Hello Chicago Network. When we come back, there wasn't any wins in Chicago this weekend in sports, but we still got to talk about them. We'll focus on the crappy Bulls next on the Hello Chicago Network. I'm going to run down a list of names. You tell me what I'm saying, okay? You ready? This is as of today, 7:30 a.m. Ayo Dosunmu, Noah Asengay, Kevin Horder, Trey Jones, Isaac Okoro, Jalen Smith, Dalen Terry, Kobe White, Patrick Williams. Yes, you're like, oh, those are all Chicago Bulls. That's the goddamn injury report.
The boys are back in town. The boys are back in town. I said the boys are back in town.
And we're back here on the Hello Chicago Network. Of course, the boys are back in town Tuesdays and Thursdays. Brandon and Anthony, they're talking sports and whatever the heck they else. I saw they also had Eric joining them as well. So nice to see that they're back on their time slot Tuesdays and Thursdays nights. Check them out. Brandon and I will be doing some stuff Brandon and I have a busy weekend. I think Anthony might be joining us too for John Cena's final match. We'll be doing a recap. So that's a ringside report next. We're still not sure when it's going to be. I'm not sure if we're going to do it live right after the show or if we're going to do it or we're going to air Sunday. Stay tuned. I'll have that for you on Friday's show to know when we're going to cover and talk about John Cena's final match. We know who it's finally against. It's against Gunther. They found that out on Friday night. So Gunther, John Cena, Saturday night's main event, Peacock, and we'll recap it. We've been covering his whole career all year, and it'll culminate with his final match ever. And he said after that, he's completely done. No wrestler ever really retires, but I feel like I believe him. He's got so much stuff going on. Okay, now let's I'm trying to delay the inevitable because we have to talk about the Bulls. Bulls face the defending Eastern Conference champions on Friday night, the Indiana Pacers, but they could not get the job done, lose 120-105. Indiana has a bad break with torn ACLs. Of course, Tyrese Halliburton, and then their quarterback, Daniel Jones, tore his Achilles, or it wasn't ACL, Achilles, on Sunday. So best wishes out to him as well. But the Bulls can't beat the Pacers 120-105. And then Sunday, Jimmy Butler back in town. The Bulls had such a great run when Butler was here, and I think that's the one guy they could have built their franchise around and never did it. But the Bulls never make the right move or the right call because they are a terribly run franchise. They lose 123-91, and the Bulls continue their plummet. They started off 5-0, and they've only won 4 games since. They've been like 4-13. They're ugly. Right now, they're unwatchable. I can't even turn a Bulls game on because when you turn it on, they're just the lack of defense, lack of motivation. This team is just not playing with heart and passion. Is Buzelis going to be, is he taking a step back in his second year? So just so many things you got to look at. And it does this team have enough to do anything? And I mean, it's just a painful start to this because the Bulls, after such a great end of the season last year and the great start of 5-0, you're like, okay, now you have something to talk about, and you don't. It's just terrible basketball. And I know there's injuries, and it's nice to see Zach Collins back, and hopefully we can get a stretch where this team gets healthy and can make a run because it's the NBA. The Bulls can reserve their spot for like the 12th straight play-in against the Heat. So we'll see if that'll be able to happen. But just right now, ugly basketball, and it's tough to watch. It's tough to cover. So they lose both of those games. They're off for this whole week, and they need some time off. So I believe they resume play on Friday. So we'll be back to previewing the Bulls on Friday, but they lose both games this week, and they continue a downfall, which you don't want to. I mean, if you want to be a play-in team, you can't keep losing games. You eventually got to get back and play good basketball, because it could be too late. I mean, even in the NBA. So we'll see what'll happen there. So the Bulls lose 120-105 to the Pacers on Friday. Sunday lose 123-91, and we'll see if this team can bounce back, but enjoy some time off, and hopefully they'll be able to do that. We're going to take a time out here on the Hello Chicago Network. When we come back, we'll close it out with focus on the Chicago Blackhawks. After such a high of last week, they get absolutely romped during this weekend. But before we do that, of course, we're talking about Awards Week. Awards Week was back in October for Major League Baseball. On a Friday show, our last week, we covered the Rookie of the Year. Now it's time to see who won Manager of the Year. So it's time to focus, and it's the most important focus, the Ryan Focus. And you saw right there, congratulations to, I believe, back-to-back years for both the Guardians manager and the good old Pat Murphy of the Brewers. So congratulations to both of them, Andrew Vogt and Pat Murphy, who deserves it. Which I don't understand how you can win that year back to win that award. That's like winning back-to-back Manager of the Year awards. How can you bring your team to that 2 years in a row? Aren't you supposed to expect it the second year? But what do I know? But also a Fan Focus Live coming up this Sunday, Bears Browns. Brandon and I will go live at noon. We're going to watch the game. That'll be exclusively on Raise the Bar TV. So the game we'll be showing the game as well. So please comment, join in. And a big game for the Bears. They try to get their 10th win of the season, which I thought was going to be what they needed, but I think now it's going to get pushed to 11. So we'll see if that'll be the case. So Fan Focus Live Sunday noon. We're going to take a look at the best Bears Browns between two games, one from the comeback win in 2001 and a game from 1986. So those will be the highlights in between commercials. And god damn, does the NFL have a lot of commercials. Okay, it's time to focus on the Blackhawks. Okay, the Blackhawks, after having a couple of nice wins, and us take a look at that, we're in a playoff spot when we came out. I don't even know if they are now, but why? I don't even want to look, because they lost to two baseball scores over the weekend. They lose the second game to the Kings 6-0, and then after beating them, and then Sunday they lose to the Ducks 7-1. So it's two terribly defensive games, two bad games. Goaltending, obviously, when you give up 13 goals in 2 days, not good, and that's not what you want to see. And I mean, after I don't know if Spencer Knight was the goalie in these two games, but just not a well played game. Let's see the game again, and that Joel Quenneville's. So the Blackhawks now are 12-11-6, so still over 500. The goalie, it was Soderblom. Who's been dreadful. He's got an 866 save percentage. It was Soderblom on Sunday. Let's see, was it him on Saturday as well? Let's see. 6-0 loss. No, Knight was the goalie, and he's got a worse save percentage of 813. So neither goalie's been great. Spencer Knight's had good stretches, but his save percentage isn't good either. So Blackhawks lose 13-1 total over the weekend. They have one game this week. It'll be Wednesday against the New York Rangers at the Madhouse, 6:30 on Chicago Sports Network. So that's the Blackhawks. Hopefully they can get back into it. But again, who would have thought? Thank God for the Bears to at least make the tough part of winter. I mean, I guess it's not that January is the worst part. So hopefully they're still playing, because we don't really cover teams outside of Chicago because in January, if we have to cover just Bulls and Blackhawks, might be a lonely, cold month in Chicago. And for this show, so let's hope the Bears keep it. I mean, we're not expecting Super Bowl, but give us a couple extra weeks of talking Bears football. But that's the Blackhawks. Wednesday against the Rangers, lose. Saturday to the Kings 6-0. Sunday to the Ducks 7-1. MLB winter meetings are going on starting yesterday. There was a malfunction by Bob Nightingale saying the Cubs signed Zach Gallen on Saturday. That's not the case, but Cubs in on a lot of guys. If there's any Cubs or White Sox signings over the during this week, we'll do a Cubs focus or White Sox focus on Friday's show. And again, baseball, I guess, could be another thing we could talk about as well for the Cubs in January. Hopefully, because again, we'll see if anything happens during the holidays, but if not, January will probably be when it happens and we'll have time to talk about it. But hopefully the Bears give us something to talk about. So that's what we're looking for, as a playoff berth now, because the Bulls, ugly. Blackhawks, ugh. So we'll see what happens. Preview for Friday, where we'll recap the one game that we had over the weekend. The Blackhawks will preview the Bulls weekend, and we'll preview Bears Browns, leading you into Fan Focus Live, which will be Sunday on Raise the Bar TV. And don't forget to like this video if you like what you see. Subscribe. I'm looking for my 40th subscriber. I've been asking for a while now. Looking to get to the even 4. I believe, actually, no joke, I think my cousin followed me yesterday. So I believe Hello Chicago Network is at 40. We are. So we're officially at 40 subscribers. So thank you very much to everyone that tuned in and watched that episode. Means the world to me. Keep tuning in every day. Like the video, subscribe to the Hello Chicago Network YouTube channel. Comment if you can, whether you're hate watching this. I know you're hate watching, Green Bay fans, but enjoy it, because one day, hopefully I'll be able to be on here to gloat. Because the last time the Bears beat the Packers, we were on our winter break. We were also beginning our winter break when the Bears played the Packers this time. So and then we don't come back till that first week of January. So I won't get a chance to really enjoy it on this show. So, okay, everyone, have a great week. We're back Friday. Hopefully a fun week for the winter meetings for the Cubs. Hopefully they can continue to grow. And then the Blackhawks, hopefully they can get a 1 win, or that's 2 straight shows with no wins. And then, of course, we'll preview Bears Browns. So everyone have a great week. I'm Ryan Anastadas from the Hello Chicago Network. We're the focus of Chicago sports.